Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is a new episode of The World Today. We are going to discuss many headlines published on national and international websites. And before we start, let me first welcome our dear guest live here in the studio, Mr. Tarik Salama, our political analyst and the leading member of the Free Egyptians political party. Thank you very much for being with us, sir.
Thank you.
And if you permit me, we are going to start immediately. This is from the Times. The Muslim Brotherhood struggles in a new Egypt. An organization accustomed to operate outside the law, the group's current circumstances are unprecedented. The military's ousting of the long-time Brotherhood official Mohammed Morsi from the presidency last July has yielded the most challenging phase in the group's existence. Before asking a question, sir, I'd like just to amend some of those written on the Times. It's not the Muslim Brotherhood, it's the terrorist Brotherhood organization, and it's not the military who ousted Mohammed Morsi, it's the 30th of June revolution backed by the army, as the army and the people are the same, to be accurate. I'd like just to know about how now, in your opinion, the softened tone of the West and especially the media is going on a day after the other, after Egypt sent, or the Egyptians to be accurate, sent a message saying that we are on the right track, implementing the roadmap, starting with the constitution, and now we are on to the presidential election.
I think that to start with, June 30, we were not really prepared to respond to the foreign media, and because we had other priority. And after a year, I think most probably the West started to understand, no, we are going by our word and we will do into a democratic process, and this is why the West is changing now, because you have to understand their mentality. They cannot understand that an elected president can be toppled by the army, because they didn't have really profound analysis of the realities on the ground. So I think that this is a good thing, and hopefully after the presidential election.
I'm sorry for the interruption, but not a good analysis, or in some certain occasions they were twisting the facts or saying lies. Even many of them, they did not say that there were more than 30 million people were in the streets asking for this and supporting the 30th of June revolution.
Yeah, but we have to differentiate between press, media, and governments and public opinion, because they are not the same.
Sure.
So sometime, even here in Egypt, we will have some people in the media will attack something that is valid or will support something that is invalid. So this is the same. So we should not always, we'd rather take always the official declaration of governments, because this is the thing that matters. But if we start the game of responding to some journalists that inexperienced, coming from a country that does not understand Egypt, we'll lose our time. So we'd better focus on the real the governments or the groups that moves the public opinion generally.
So, as we are also with a man of economy, the economists say, holding their nerve on the Nile. Foreign firms have not abandoned Egypt. With about 90 million people, it's the region's most populous country and still a cultural trendsetter in the Arab world. Middle-class incomes have been growing, and though poverty has soared, even the poor must eat and wash. Here we are talking about Egypt, but from the prospect of those foreign firms, as said by the economist. Was it expected, and the coming phase, is it going to witness more development, progress, or we should be a little bit patient?
I think we should be a little bit patient. Definitely, all foreign companies or investors are interested in Egypt because Egypt needs a lot of development. It's a huge market and so on. But we need first to prepare ourselves to have clear laws, to improve the system, to reduce all the problems that we have in administration, and then, yes, there is a good future. But it will take some time, and it will take also a lot of work. So
Sir, as I told you just before being on air that I'm not good at all with economy, with economics,
yes.
but in certain times, even if I'm not interested, I would find surprises regarding the stock market in specific, with purchasing operations from Egyptian foreign and Arab investors. Is it only about the political turmoil, or there are other things or other elements, other factors which may cause here a loss, cause their profit, things like that?
Yes, this is a very interesting question. Unfortunately, a lot of people always are talking that the stock exchange is a reflection of the growth of the markets in general. But actually, the stock exchange is only a market where investors sell and buy shares. And this means only what investors feel it's a good opportunity. That's why during the last year, for example, we had the stock exchange going up in moment that politically we thought it should go down.
Yes.
And the stock exchange went down in moments where we think it should go up. And the stock exchange in Egypt is small compared to the whole economy, Egyptian economy. So I don't think really that the stock exchange alone is a real indicator for the growth of Egypt. The real indicators are the inflation, the growth, and the unemployment. These are
our ability to implement the austerity measures if we can.
If we can, exactly, perfect.
And taking you to Al-Ahram Online, where Egypt accepts U.S. ambassador to Cairo. Egypt has agreed on the U.S. nomination for its new ambassador to Cairo. Dr. Badr Abdel Ati, the spokesperson of the Foreign Ministry, was unable to reveal the ambassador's name, but we all know that he is Robert Stephen B. Croft, and he was the American ambassador in Iraq, and there are some musical seats issue. So he is going to come to Egypt, and the one in Jordan is going to go to Iraq, and they are going to nominate someone in Jordan. It's a musical seats game, as I said, but I'd like to ask you to comment on the timing of this American ambassador coming to Cairo just a few days before the presidential election, if there is a relation or connection.
I think there is a relation. We have to understand that in America, for example, politics is not about the president of the republic. As politics is about the lobbyists, about the senators, and so on. And not having the highest representation in Egypt was politically the only choice the American could have done. But
for
now,
7 months, the position was vacant.
Yes, but now, on the contrary, I see that nominating the ambassador in Iraq, which is Iraq, usually American ambassador is a kind of, this is the highest level.
Flashpoint.
Exactly. So coming to Egypt, I think this shows how much.
I think this was the case with Ann Patterson too.
No, Ann Patterson was in Pakistan.
Another hotspot?
I think the choice, this was, I think, my own opinion, Ann Patterson was a very bad choice. Because the idea was she was supposed to understand supposed to be Islamic mentality and so on, and she understood nothing about it. So, but I think I hope for the next ambassador.
By the way, it's no secret that B. Croft was the second nomination from the United States, and the Foreign Ministry refused the first nomination, who was once in Syria, I think, for the last couple of years or something, during also a political turmoil state. So, before leaving this point, sir, after the 10-day visit of His Excellency Foreign Minister Nabil Fahmy to the United States, meeting with people in San Francisco, with Ban Ki-moon, of course, the UN General Secretary in New York, and meeting with other American top officials, do you think that, and of course after what he said, having the bilateral ties based on mutual respect more than any other thing, the coming phase, is it going to witness more differences, diversity of topics to be tackled, the historical ties, the strategic ties between Egypt and the United States are going to witness another era? How do you see it?
No, I think that if we go into the democratic path that both candidates of presidency are willing to do, I think it will go for the better. And there is also the self-interest of countries. So you cannot say that no, it will the relation will go down. I think it will be much improving, and it will go with the stability of the government in Egypt.
sir, since you have mentioned the presidency race and what's going to happen in the coming few days, of course we are expecting a lot from the two presidential candidates with addressing people every now and then with their campaigns and with war of words, I may say, which is very much normal between rivals. Of course, there are many things in common between in the two programs. They are both addressing Egypt and the Egyptians. But if you do have some steps or something to give as a piece of advice, how to go immediately, directly to the heart and minds of the Egyptians to attract them to vote, especially for one candidate?
This is a very difficult question what you are asking, but I'll try to give my in brief.
Just in words.
The only thing that Egyptians should do now is to think that whatever their choice would be, both candidates are people that love their country and love their people. And if they do their choice, they should do their choice for the candidate that they think or feel he will be better for the next 4 years in Egypt. And don't forget that actually according to the new constitution, the reality of solving the problems of the population would be in the hand of the Prime Minister. So don't forget...
Powers of the President are not the same.
Not the same. Don't wait for any of the candidates if he comes to
I'm asking this question.
Yes.
If I were representing the people, I know that Egyptians were in such difficult situation for the past 3 years. And it seems that we are going to continue in such a difficult phase, so we need someone who is really in contact with the Egyptians. Is it transparency? Is it hard work? Is it knowing well what to do in advance? Is it to have a long strategy and a short-term strategy? Is it what?
I think we should start by the transparency and reform of the institutions. This is the most important thing. And I think also that Egypt is a huge country, 90 million people. So decentralization is the key. Why? Because instead